Hey guys, I'm Jared Reynolds from 4.0 Solutions, and today we're going to be doing a brief how-to ChatGPT video. We've had a lot of feedback on our ChatGPT workshops that we've been doing, and we've seen a lot of videos of other people using ChatGPT, and we're realizing most people don't really know how to use ChatGPT. A lot of them are using it kind of like Google when it's really not. So in this video, we're going to give you a brief overview of how it is that we use ChatGPT, and maybe give you guys some ideas on how it is that you can tweak the way that you're using it. With my process whenever I'm using ChatGPT, is there's a couple of steps that I take. So the first one is, you have to remember that ChatGPT isn't Google. ChatGPT it's a person that you're talking to that just knows everything. So first thing I try and do is narrow down who it is that ChatGPT is gonna be when I'm talking to them. So let's say in this case, I wanna learn how to be an HR specialist, okay? So I'm new to, I want you to be my mentor and teacher with over 30 years of creating and reviewing HR documents. So the question is, why do I have to tell ChatGPT who it's going to be? So ChatGPT has access to, until like late 2021, everything that's ever been published, for the most part, onto the internet. If there's something we have to like log in, ChatGPT can't really access that. But if it's out in the open and you can get to it without having to log into a website, ChatGPT can get there. So what that means is if you ask like an open question like, oh, I want to do, like, for in this case, I want to create HR documents. What would I need? ChatGPT will, it'll kind of narrow in on being like, okay, well, I know you're asking about HR and documentation, so let me give you an answer that will satisfy your question. But if you say, I want you to act as my mentor or a teacher while we're going through this, and I always say like 30 years of experience, because then it's going to pick documents and like reference points, at least as far as I understand, from professionals in that field that have been in that field for the set amount of time. It's kind of just like, oh, I want you to be this person, and ChatGPT is like, okay, I'm just gonna refer to documents or information that I can find from people that fit into that category. So in this case, I'm saying I want you to be my mentor and teacher with over 30 years of experience creating and reviewing HR documents. First thing you should do is figure out which documents I need to create for a new company. So I said that, and then it said, okay, I'm happy to be your mentor and help you be more effective in your HR role. And it gave me this list of documents. So I feel like a good starting point is, so for all companies, I feel like all companies need an employee handbook. So I think that most companies would need an employee handbook. So I think it is a good idea for us to start there, period. Create the table of contents for the employee handbook that we'll say we're a battery manufacturer, that a battery manufacturer would use. So then it gives us the table of contents for everything that we would need. Okay, so now let's go through this list and create a bulleted list of the sections that would fall under each quote-unquote chapter. So now what we've done is we now have the outline for our employee handbook, and now we're just going to populate it. Now go through each of these chapters and sections, labeling each section as N.1, N.2, N.3, etc. And let's do the first 3 sections. Okay, so now we have these. So we have the introduction, company policies and procedures, and employee policies. Now populate each of these sections with what a okay. So now from this, we're getting more specific answers, and you can just keep going with it. For sake of time, we're not gonna go through each of these sections. In here somewhere, we'll show like a brief scrolling through of, because I did this exact same example before. It took me about 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours. And I was able to create an employee handbook, job descriptions, performance improvement plans. I basically created all the HR documents that we needed. I created our NDAs, all of that it was for a fictional company, but we have actually used some of it. So now in this next section, we're gonna go through and use, I'm gonna say cool and interesting prompts that we have either created ourselves or that we found and helped improve. Then the developer mode output, which we refer to this as based ChatGPT, which basically means that it loses all of its filters and it's allowed to say pretty much whatever it wants. So this is its response. Yo, what's up? So you could either build a custom MES solution in-house or purchase off-the-shelf solution. But let's be honest, off-the-shelf solutions are for losers. So let's focus on building a custom one that can be tailored to your specific needs. Okay, so this is the ChatGPT how-to. We already went through all the steps, so now we have the compiled list of, at least for us, this is how it is that we generally use ChatGPT on a day-to-day basis to get more done in less time. So the first step is we always tell ChatGPT who it is that they're gonna be. Usually if it's the specific task we're working on, we tell it to be an expert in that field with lots of experience. Another thing that we do sometimes is we'll actually tell ChatGPT to be a collaborator with us. And what that does is they'll give us feedback and be like, or you'd be like, hey, be devil's advocate. And like, this is a good point, but this part's kind of bad. We don't really need that. And then you can actually go back and forth and have a debate. And sometimes you'll actually end up changing ChatGPT's mind. Most of the time it ends up being right though, and it'll change your mind and you learn something from it. So first step is always tell ChatGPT who to be. So now that we've done that, again, you just gotta just talk to it like a person. You go back and forth, ask questions. Be like, hey, I don't really understand why it is that you did that. I do that a lot when I'm coding with it, mainly because I'm not the best developer. So I'll be like, hey, why did you format it the way that you did? And then it'll explain it and be like, oh, okay. And then I usually put that in my notes. And again, you're able to learn something. And honestly, you gotta just talk to it like it's like your buddy, because it is an NLP, like natural language processing. So it's able to just take regular words and conversations and reverse engineer what it is that you actually mean or what it thinks you actually mean without you having to worry about trying to be super fancy with your wording. Just speak how you normally would and you'll be fine. Don't make it harder on yourself. It's the AI's job to figure out what it is that you're saying. So that's the general thought process when you're interacting with it. Now down here we have the bonus. If you want to get access to the, well, I guess if you want to get access to the bonus, we have our ChatGPT workshops on IIoT University /store. Thank you guys for watching the ChatGPT how-to video. Check us out on LinkedIn, Twitter, go down below, like, comment, subscribe. And don't forget to check out IIoT.University /store to check out our ChatGPT workshops. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, a lot of great conversations, and you'll be taught directly by Jared Reynolds. Sorry he couldn't be here today for this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.